Something come up on my question mark.
Oh, okay.
I could possibly fish you super early from 7 to 11 on.
All right, bring us in.
I got it. And welcome to another great show of Tampa Fishing Outfitters Fishing Report. Myself, Captain Jason Prieto in the house. Captain Rick Liles, Big Country.
What's happening?
My boy.
Beers.
Big time beers in the house.
Hey,
and old Shorty.
Back.
Shorty.
Apparently we were live audio for our intro.
Yeah, hopefully
we're trying to get these mics working a little bit better for you guys. We know it's been tough to hear, so we've got Travis on the what's it called when a DJ
on the mixer,
ones and twos.
He's on the ones.
The ones and twos.
Yeah.
So he's back there mixing for a couple minutes, but we got a good show tonight, guys.
We don't have comments tonight.
We're getting them. Comments are going to be going. Rick, relax. It's just a click of a button.
Rick is demanding.
I'm demanding.
He is. But the cool thing is, well, I'd say the opposite of cool is it's warmed up since our last show. I think last Wednesday when we did this, we were all in sweaters, all in pants.
It was chilly.
It's about 50 degrees when we did the show. We fished all day and cold. Today, night and day difference. Not blowing. 75 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Because I bet you for the last week and a half, most people haven't been going out catching bait. And we're going to get you some reports on what we're doing this week and what we've got coming up this weekend. We do know it's going to blow a little bit come Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
Good day to golf.
It's going to blow pretty hard.
Well, Sunday I'm off.
Well, not me. I'm working.
We got
on the water Sunday.
Listen.
Mm-hmm.
We got the conformant deal going on.
Oh, we got informant mode?
Informant or whatever the heck.
It's good to know. So, anyways, let's talk fishing.
Yeah,
Rick, kick it off, man.
Go, Rick, go.
Man, I've been shark fishing.
Shark fishing?
Yeah, man. Been doing it.
Tell me about it.
Lots of, well, because of bait being an issue, shrimp are easy right now. Shark are plentiful.
Uh-huh.
And it's
your normal trout and redfish
I got
rod?
another shark trip tomorrow.
Sweet.
We're going to shark fish and trout fish. Trout bite hadn't been too bad. It's just been a little bit on the smaller side for me lately. But, yeah, sharks are been the hit of the show.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of that on social media, checking in with guys. And, when it gets cold, when it's blowing, there's always some relief to be had and get on some sharks.
As long as the wind's blowing in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So.
See anything else out there, like a more
I saw one cobia.
Uh-huh.
And
I've heard it slowed down a little bit.
Bunch of stingrays, which actually caught a couple of them by mistake. Not real crazy about catching stingrays, but did see one decent cobia. Didn't get him to chew, but
hey, some days, man, stingray fight real good.
Message the store's social media account talking about like with these sharks and things going on, and we're always referring to doing it on light tackle. And I think that maybe for somebody with a little bit less experience, they're not used to saying connecting sharks with light tackle. So, like, what kind of shark, what size?
These are bonnethead sharks, and we've been catching them up to about 3.5 feet.
Okay. And when you do when you rig them on light tackle, what's your terminal stuff look like?
It's pretty simple. I use a 1 or 2/0 hook. Hook a shrimp like we showed a couple weeks ago how to hook a shrimp. Put a split shot about 5 inches, 6 inches. You know, it can be 10 inches.
So still running the normal leader, not changing things up, really.
Not changing nothing.
Cool. I'm not a big change up type of guy with a leader.
They
man.
break
I'm
it
just
off
like,
and
hey,
just tie another hook.
Well, and if
it ain't gonna work,
it ain't gonna work.
Right.
Like, you know, move on.
I
to
usually just
something
run
else.
to like the mackerel rigs that I'll tie in the summertime. You know, where I go to like 30, 40 mono. Sometimes I'll put a longer shank hook on there, but not really.
Well, I know Travis would probably disagree with me because he's very in depth. Like, he'll try to figure it out. Where like I'm like, we got to go do something else. This ain't working.
Let it roll.
Yeah. And but you know that's I don't know. I don't play with the leader too much. Gary, you found us.
Here we go. All right, we got our comments going. Let's just do a quick scan. Jason, tell us a little bit about the fishing lately while I check this.
It's been good. Gary, one of my good customers, going for about bottom dropping. It's an inside joke. He's actually fishing me for about 3 or 4 days, and that's Rusty Bucket.
Okay.
It's our Rusty Bucket
right.
guys. Yeah. But cool group of guys. I mean, he's been going with me for years. But fishing's been good. I fished today. We were able to get a little bit of bait, and we caught some snook. We caught a couple reds. We got some jacks. We got some flounder.
Cool.
I got 2 trout.
Any size?
Nah, keeper.
Yeah.
Keeper size, not huge. I did not trout fish a lot. I don't like keeping a ton of trout. I don't mind doing it, but if I do find big trout, there's a couple spots I've hit some big trout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to hammer it. It's kind of weird. It's like so I don't stay on. I think, but then I end up feeling like
for the plate that night.
So I really feel kind of guilty on the.
I've been trying to cut off trout around 2 per person at the most.
Kind of hard sometimes.
It's kind of hard sometimes, but
it is hard.
I saw that stat on Facebook or whatever it was going around the Release Over 18 campaign. Have you seen that? Where it talks about the number of eggs a trout will release during the spawn.
Okay.
At 15, at 17, and at 18. So don't quote me on this, but roughly the number for a 15-inch more than doubles when that fish is 17. So a 17-inch is releasing more than double what a 15-inch is. And then an 18-inch fish is releasing more than double of a 17-inch fish.
Eggs you're talking about?
There was like 450,000 eggs on average per year versus a 17 was like 200 versus a 15 was like 100. So when you start to harvest that 18-inch or more size trout, it's putting a hurting on the future population of them. So I'm not saying you don't, that's a voluntary thing. I know that's not what the state's slot lines up for us, but I've been trying to honor that at the best I can.
I'll tell you, I've got some really good customers of that, and I have some other customers that I've really got a feather around it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to lose your customers, and it's not illegal to keep them, but it's more of a moral thing with me. If I don't feel good about it, I really don't like doing it.
Yeah.
But I do get that, they're still open, so I try to tread lightly. I hear other captains say, I lost my tip or I lost a customer because I just refused to do this. I'm like, well, a feather around that deal.
Yep.
So I try to take that approach with it, but I got a couple of customers that, if it's in the legal deal, they're going to press the issue to where you got to kind of,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's frustrating because
the first question is, what's the limit on these?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't like to keep them over 20. I really don't.
No.
But boy, if I tell them that, they're giving me that nasty eye.
Same deal. Lloyd, I got a fellow that fishes with me probably 10 times a year, and he's there for the meat. And if Lloyd wants 4 trout, Lloyd gets 4 trout. It's plain and simple. So
Surely, you know I probably do. Scott, we're working on the audio right now. We're kind of troubleshooting. There's really no way to do it other than real time.
If we didn't have problems, we wouldn't be on the air.
Well, yeah. But we are
is doing. We got some cool stuff we're going to be releasing here soon. We got a website.
We do.
We got a website.
Yep. We're not ready to unveil any of that yet.
No, we're not. But we do have a website. We got
little name change.
Rick's
potential. Yeah, that's where it's in the works.
Rick's got a website.
That's the big news.
I bought my domain name back after 3 years.
Yeah. Gary, definitely the snapper bite's been good. Snapper bite's probably getting better with this warming trend.
Yeah.
Sheep's head bite's been good. We've actually got a treat.
A treat.
Rick and I got out to do some sheep's head fishing just for fun for a little while the other day, and Rick is mean with the blade, so we got some cleaning footage of him walking us through a sheep's head. So we're gonna talking to him, trying to get him out here next week.
Oh, Crazy Wes!
Crazy Wes Burns.
Wes, you got to keep it clean, brother.
Yeah.
But Wes, dude, you gotta love Wes.
Oh,
Wes is always happy, and
you know I bumped into Wes. What was it? What was the day with the really bad fog? Sunday. I fished almost every day last week, and the last day before I had a couple of days off was Sunday, and we got done after that fog, and we were both out of Gandy, and it was. I'll tell you what, Sunday when that sun never really came out after being sunny the previous days, I know a lot of people up in my neck of the woods struggled to produce a bite. We were seeing each other all kind of with that fog.
When boats are moving.
Yeah, with that fog, everybody stays kind of close to the ramp, so nobody can move without being seen. And I'm watching, Wes go by, Kenny go by, all the people I'm used to seeing on the water. I'm watching. Prior to that, though, our bite up there has been really good. I mean, docks, deeper water canals, some of the creek mouse, all trout bite's been really good. The one thing I noticed, I talked about to Wes and a couple other guys was a little bit smaller sheep's head around those docks than we've been getting. So starting on Friday, I started moving on to some of the deeper water rock piles. Much better.
I've been, besides today, I have done very little fishing in less than 20 foot of water.
Yeah, you've been kind of doing the
out in the middle of the bay. I've got some good ledges out there with good bottom, and the bite has been up and down because the water temperature's up. The other day we had to work, but we ended up getting a good sheep's head bite. We got one real big one and got some nice. Went through about 8 dozen shrimp and made it a good day. Didn't even bother getting whitebait. These guys want to keep fish, so that's a good thing about out there. But it's been good, man. The bottom fishing's cool. You're just subject to the weather. I tell you this, the Rodan earns every penny. I mean, I ran it. I haven't dropped. You hadn't used my power poles and didn't drop my anchor, and I've been fishing the bay 4 or 5 hours a day. And it's such a good feature. I tell you, where not only does it hold you in place, and I'm sure that the Minn Kota does this now, but one of the best features of that is you anchor on your spot. Well, the spots that I'm fishing, it's not like a big rock pile. It's just ledges. And sometimes and with sheep's head in particular, they're munching on the edges or whatever down there. So I used the jog feature a ton and actually ran across a new spot like 20 yards from where I've been fishing.
What's the
jog feature is you're anchored in your spot like this. If you can see this, you hit the right button, 5 feet right.
Gotcha.
Hit the left button, 5 feet up, back, so you can move in 5 foot intervals without.
Bottom fishing, that would be.
Oh, it's golden. And I just basically hit the button. I watch my machine. If I get back too far, I hit it up 5 feet, or if you, and then I'll use that in conjunction with my side sonar. So on the side sonar, if you're not on the ledge, you got 50 feet on each side, so I can look at the side sonar and I'll see that ledge. You'll see the drop off. So if I know that my ledge is 20 feet over that wedge, seeing it on your down, so you mix that with your down imaging, and it really.
Not to be a smart aleck, but an anchor and line has a jog button too.
Yeah, it's called pulling.
You can let anchor out to go back.
Go up there and let 5 feet out. Yeah.
Turn your motor a little bit, and it'll take you to the left. Turn it the other way, and it'll take you to the right.
Yeah, but the whole, you got to throw the anchor, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Well, I'll probably tell you that it's kind of like, I don't know, we joke about the millennial generation. I guess that millennial generation of angler might not ever have to experience that. You don't know. But
occasionally have to you definitely have to throw the hook every once in a while, but you know, with the longer shafts on the trolling motor and the technology that's out there, and not all of them, they're getting better.
Yeah.
The one you have seems to be a lot. I know the first version of Minn Kota, they definitely missed. I mean,
I have one.
That thing is ugly. Thompson's got one. I mean, you must.
I think they're all putting out a quality product now with, you know, the technology. I mean, when you do something like that, it just goes a long way over the years. And, you know, you have somebody that sets a bar, and then, boom, somebody catches up, and then it's up to the next company to set the bar. But
it makes bottom fishing a lot easier. And the way I look at it now, when I'm bottom fishing,
it makes it faster.
It's easier. Like some of these ledges I'm fishing, put it this way, I've been on my boat on some of these ledges, and if you're not right on it, it's a drop, like 5 foot straight.
Yeah.
And if I've been on the ledge to where the right side of the boat's catching them one after another, and the left side's not off, it makes a difference. So you just basically are honing in on the spot, and it just makes it easier. I found so much more area doing this by not having to jack with the anchor. And I know you're the knee knocker guy. And they ain't nothing wrong. They work great. Your trolling motor lasts long, but you know, lasts a long time. But you know, the other thing I'd like to add to this, James, is I've heard a lot of people say, "Man, my trolling motor only lasted a year and I had problems." Well, think about this too before you criticize the new trolling motor. Good example.
I'm not criticizing.
No. But you got an old style trolling motor. You run it old tiller style, and you got years. You
guys envy me at the marker sometimes when I pull up and you got your spot locked, and I'm trying to anchor or I'm doing the drift. But I envy you.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, hang on.
I feel bad.
Yeah, you said we envy.
I envy y'all. Y'all don't envy me.
Yeah. But I guess what I'm getting at is, before you start banging the trolling motor, whatever company it is, you might have problems with it. Think about this. Example, I've used my trolling motor the last 3 trips takeaway today. 4 to 5 hours a day, straight running. Rick, you use your trolling motor, and you go to a spot, you shut it off, and that's it. Think about the amount of hours that you're running, and that thing constantly turning, shifting, up, down, variable speeds on the reverse, forward. So when you think about the amount of hours, that if trolling motor companies need to get a little bit smarter on putting hours. If they would get hours on them things, then they would be able to say, okay, well, this is how many hours about the new trolling motor. Well, it broke on me in a year. Well, look, how much more did you use versus a traditional trolling motor?
Yes, the spot lock feature is, especially if you're a bait guy. I mean, if you're somebody who at the start of your trip is going to catch bait, I mean, you're going to find that thing there's very seldom that you're not going to put that in the water and use it the whole time you're catching bait. That's how I found myself to be using it. Unless we're on the flats, we're power pulled down, obviously you're not using it. So yeah, you do put it through the ringer.
Yeah.
It looks like Ken answered. Wes was just asking some questions about size hook for sheep's head.
I use a number 1 Daiichi circle hook. Trident's got very similar hook.
Yeah.
Number 1 works great for me. I've actually, funny people say, well, how do you use a circle hook to catch sheep's head? I don't have any issues. I actually had some with traditional hooks, and I went to the circle hooks and did better hooking the fish.
Right.
So I've just been using the big. What size is the biggest split shot y'all have? A number? I don't know.
One, which I want to say is almost a 3/4 ounce.
Yeah, I've been using 3 of them.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Get down and keep it down. When I started fishing those deeper water spots, I found that if I could keep my line straight up and down and keep the customer, connected and feeling that tip of the rod, the braid, whatever it was, night and day difference. If there was any drift to it.
Well, I usually put the weight too. It's a little trick that I've learned over the years, and maybe it's not a trick, but I think it's a trick. But put the weight really close to the hook, maybe 2 inches. Your bait's over here. You're not even going to feel that hit unless it's a real big sheep's head. When you put the weight right at your hook, now everything's straight up and down. You feel every little hit.
Definitely.
That makes a huge difference when you're sheep's head fishing, grunt fishing, snapper. Snapper are pretty aggressive. I mean, you can use
there's a lot more forgiveness, I think, with a snapper. I think they tend to latch onto it and just take it, a lot easier. I saw you get into some snapper on one of your posts.
Got a few. We've been picking out. I mean, I haven't wrecked them. I get like 3 or 4. Everybody, I tell you, the grunt is one of the most overrated fish. Good eating. They're a little bit of a pain to clean, and they fight good. We were getting some big grunts like this last week. Overrated. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And the Key West grunts.
Sunday.
Yeah, they eat good. They're easier to clean than sheep's head. I had
they're a lot easier to clean than sheep's head.
Dude,
we're going to
like
be
7 sheep's head.
Listen, you're going to get a lot better tonight at cleaning a sheep's head when you see Rick's video.
Tonight's the night.
We're going to debut that, guys. We're going to wait. We're going to wait a little bit on that
easier.
Before we play that. But let's talk about one thing. One thing that came up. Sunday if you fished fog. I mean,
I blew to Georgia Saturday afternoon and I came back Tuesday.
Sunday.
No fog for me.
It was bad though.
Have you ever fished in fog?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So let's kind of talk about just a couple minutes on it. Yeah, sorry.
You said Sunday.
Couple minutes touch on it. For the boater who hasn't been through that fog, what to ensure that you get to go fishing, but you also get back to your truck safely.
Well, go slow.
Number one.
What I do is, so I've in the end of the year last year. What?
It sounds like we're huffing helium.
Sorry, man. We're
working on it, Corey.
Technology. It's just Rick's gonna fix it for us.
Yeah.
He's gonna throw it through the window for us.
So with fog, you always err on the side of caution.
Right.
What I'll do a lot of times, we had to run to the Skyway. Well, at least I did during the end of the year. We had a bunch of fog. Remember the fog?
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm rolling.
Oh, it was really bad. It was like
God.
that first couple days of January, right?
So what I did is it was calm, kicked every spotlight on my boat.
Yeah.
And I tell you, one of the things I like to do if you're in calm seas and you're going to make a run to the Skyway, try to take a heading on your compass, which is kind of hard because the bay does a jog southwest.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you really want to concentrate on doing besides looking, because you can't only see so far, if it's calm out, pay attention to boat waves. If you see waves all of a sudden, slow down. There's somebody close.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy, but
well, that's true. But you need to beware the guy that's coming at you, not making waves. There's I saw a thing on or comments about a GPS. Hey, here's what you got to watch out for. Your GPS one is delayed.
Uh-huh.
You're going to be farther than your GPS tells you are when you're seeing it on your screen, just because of the density of the fog.
Yep.
2, your GPS ain't telling you who else is out there, so go slow where you can hear other boats.
Yep.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I ran a trip out of the Vinoy years ago, and it was pea soup fog, and I come back across the bay. And there was some redfish down by the port. I come back across the bay. At the time, I didn't have a GPS. My GPS was broken, and I was able to make it just all cleared. Luckily, this was just pure luck, but I had missed my spot where I wanted to be by about 1,000 yards, which seems like a long distance, but
when you're in the fog and you have no visibility, that's
right.
not that far off.
And it was eerie out there.
Yeah,
it really was.
I've been in it too. And you guys touched on it. Slow down is absolutely number one. and especially in our line of work, we've got people on our boats, that are paying us to be out there. You touched on it. Throw every light you can on. Get as lit up as you can.
Right.
One thing I'm doing is I'm constantly assessing the visibility, because I've noticed in the bay fog, the visibility's changing sometimes. You go through periods where it's 100 feet, 20 feet, 200 feet. So I'm always assessing that, not really just sticking to one speed. I'm kind of have on the water, whether it's a ripple, how far out can I see, and make sure that my speed doesn't exceed a speed that's going to allow me to make a maneuver. If I do see a boat, because a lot of times, and I'm guilty of it, I need to get up on plane, and it's hard to hear, when you're running that boat. But I try to stay in that number where I know if somebody's coming at me, or if I see somebody stopped, or I see somebody fishing, I can make a maneuver in enough time.
Well, it's funny because when you're fishing in the fog, and this is, I'm sure, happened to y'all too, but you may be fishing.
That morning you were talking about back in January was really bad, and I was coming from the Skyway, and it actually was the end of December, because I'm pulling out of the ramp, Cockroach, and I see the fog, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then I remember it's the last day of grouper season. How many people are going to be in between the mouth of Cockroach and Skyway on Troll, where I'm not going to hear them? I'm not going to see him until I get right up there, so I'm dreading it. But I get halfway there, and halfway there I need to, since I'm going so slow, need to stop and use the facilities. I go past Port Manatee Channel to make sure I clear all that. So I'm sitting there, and I'm standing on the front of my boat and, going, and I swear this boat yards in front of me. But when you say the GPS, the only thing that particular person had their eyes on was the GPS. And yes, the GPS will keep you from running into a marker, an island, a sandbar.
Right.
It's not going to keep you running into another boater. So just bear that in mind. The GPS is a good navigational tool, but it's not something you can rely on to make sure that you don't hit me while I'm on the deck of my boat trying to take a leak.
Yeah.
All right.
Another tip is, so if you got real bad fog you can't see, try to have an assessment of what line you're going to run on your GPS. So you know you're going to have to use your GPS and compass for navigating. So think about where people are typically running.
Yeah.
So you got the shipping channel, and then you got on the, especially on the South Shore, you got the manatee signs. Everybody in between that shipping channel and the manatee signs, if it's not rough. Because the flats, there could be people fishing. Everybody runs the edge of the signs. So if you get out from them signs but not by the channel, it's a pretty clear area. Now, the one obstacle you're going to have
sounds all the way down
is one thing you're going to have is the reefs, Port Manatee Reef, Bahia Reef. So you have to know them on your chart. So all the stuff you got to look at. I particularly like to run my chart too. If you have, I've got a 12-inch Simrad, very clear screen, got the Google Earth and all that. I like to run mine in 3D. And when you run it in 3D, if you take that screen and you can twist it to where you're looking ahead, and I've got marks in that river, like running the backside. I've got trails on different. I can just see my GPS, but if you turn that, you can look ahead a lot more on your screen.
Yeah.
So for me, it helps out a lot.
Instead of trying to keep the bird's eye view track on.
The key is just going slow.
Yeah.
I creep.
That's it for me.
I absolutely creep. I can hear a boat. I guarantee it on mine now.
Yeah.
If he's running hard at me, now I've got to make.
You got to make a choice.
I either got to punch it to get away, which could be a bad situation. But yeah, it's all about going slow and hearing the other guy.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Pay attention.
Bury the tabs, trim your motor, and run your boat as slow as you can on plane.
And the thing is, I saw something about there. If you're running charters in the fog, you're dangerous or whatever. Well, that could be true, but I've been out there fishing Miguel Bay, and the sea fog roll in, and
dangerous. I say you have to use caution. You can't.
I'm just saying what I saw, what I read.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's dangerous. I say it's a cautious situation. I will say this, that I know for a fact that Rick and myself and James will alter our trips based on fog.
Oh,
absolutely.
Stay closer to
Yeah.
home, maybe not run all the way
We're not
down.
making long runs.
Yeah, maybe not run
Maybe
all the way
delay.
down. Yeah.
Delay if possible.
Say, guys, let's go hit in here for a little bit. So see if the fog lifts. Or
First thing I did that morning was tell my clients I'd be late.
yeah,
Because I was determined to get bait for them, thinking the fog's going to lift, and I want to make sure it was a good day. And I told them, listen, I normally run out to this bridge at 35 mile an hour. Today it's going to be 10 to 15 mile an hour, so both ways it's going to be late. So that was the first thing I did was make the call. But I think we talked about that enough. Let's kind of move on before we get into
take a break?
Video on how to clean a sheep's head.
Yay.
And then we're going to kind of talk about what we got going on with this warmer temps and what we think it's going to hold in the for this weekend and moving on forward. So, let's go ahead
we're
and
gonna go to break.
Let's go ahead and go to break. We'll come back and do a sheep's head fillet. All right, guys, we're back. Tampa Fishing Outfitters Live Fishing Report. Captain Rick, Captain Jason, Captain Travis behind the scenes on the ones and twos.
What?
Myself, Captain James. As promised, guys, we
I just registered what you said.
we got out a couple weeks ago. Rick and I wanted to do some sheep's head scouting. We both had the day off. It's kind of nice, just us hanging out, doing some fishing, and we got some sheep's head. And as we were sitting there catching a couple, which is all we managed to get that day, thank goodness.
you did.
It was nasty conditions, though. Hold on. It was blowing
It was bad.
a solid 25. I don't think it ever got over 52, 53 degrees.
Well, it did.
But anyways, we got out there, did some fishing, pulled a sheep's head in, said, you know what? We get questions all the time, whether it's our inbox from clients. Everybody's wanting to know how to clean a sheep's head. So my man Rick, he's handy with the knife, so we put it in his hand. So we're going to go ahead and cut to that, let you guys watch the video on how we clean a sheep's head, or how Rick showed me, and then we'll be back to answer any questions.
Today's pro tip, the information we're giving today is how to clean a sheep head. And this is what we got to clean. I'm going to guess 16, 17 inches. James and I went out this morning. Thank goodness James went, because if James wouldn't have went, we wouldn't have had one to clean. So cleaning a sheep head is a little different than most fish because of the fact you got to be real careful, because these spines that they have right here are very sharp and pointy, and you can I always say cleaning a sheep head's like having a knife fight with a gladiator. It can get real quick. So anyway, we're going to clean this guy. Should get two pretty good fillets off of it, and to show you the best way to do it, which is pretty much basically like any other fish, but show you how we do it. Here we go. This is the sheep head. Now, I've got two knives that on these fish that are larger from top to bottom. A lot of times I like to do some of the smaller work with a smaller knife, and then when you go to cut off the rib cage and stuff, grab a longer blade knife where you can do it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But on a sheep head, if you'll look, and I don't know if our light will let us, but if you look right along here, you see how that's not been cut there. That's just natural with him. The way those scales kind of make like a little wall there. I don't know what you would call it, and it's the only fish that I catch that has that. But what you want is you want that optimally to have your blade in there behind that. So I know there's 100 ways to clean a fish. I'm just going to show you the way I do it. And this girl's probably going to be full of eggs, but I'll come in right underneath those pecks and just cut it down like that. And when I said that sheephead can be dangerous, it's not all fish can be dangerous cleaning because of the knife, but sheephead can be because of their armor and those tips that they have on their fins. Get right in there. There we go. And once you break it through there, if you can see what I did, I'm behind that little wall I was talking about. I don't know what it's called, but and then from there, you should be able to just go right down, right on the inside of that. You don't have to get in a hurry with these guys. Take your smaller blade and just work it down, and then that wall is going to end. And what I like to personally do is just come back and go right along the bones there on it. And then when I get down, when I got that where it's cleaned all the way to the spine, I'll just hold it open with my thumb, grab that knife and go on the top side of everything, and then just kind of punch it through. And from that point, you just pull it on out like a regular fillet. And that's what we got there. Now, you can, on a smaller one, and I'm going to try to do it with this one, but you can, if your knife is sharp enough, you can just run right through those rib bones, and we'll take care of them in a minute, but we'll see how sharp my knife is. Yeah, so it's cut through the rib bones. So now we got that away from all the bones on it. I didn't even have to use the big knife on this one, so, which is good. And then you just come down here. Look at that, she's full of eggs. That's all roe right there. Some people eat it. I've never eaten it out of a sheephead, but some people love sheephead and trout roe. I just like to mull it well. So anyway, so that one's done. That's ready for skinning. I'll just throw that up there for now. Okay, now we're going to skin it, and this is where the longer bladed knife will come in handy. We didn't have to use it on that, but I usually just kind of pinch down here by the tail and try to get the knife, you know, just between the skin and the meat, and then just kind of saw it through there. You don't really have to saw it. If you got a good knife, it'll push it on through, but I just find that you don't lose near as much of your good meat if you do that. And then, I mean, I always debone fish. I just come in here like that, kind of go at a little bit of an angle to save you some meat, and then come through, do like that. And a sheephead is going to have, I call it a V cut. What, I don't know, you know, whatever. But once you get the fillet off, and this is just all meat fillet, you're going to have a few bones still right there. I just come right in there like that and cut that V cut out. Clean that up, and that is a good piece of meat right there. That's some good eats.
Now that is a good looking fillet, Rick. I got to give it to you. We were talking. You got some serious knife skills.
See, Rick,
and she fried up good.
you know what? I wish I would have been there, which I couldn't because I was fishing, I think. Or
No, you were at Pathfinder.
You're right. I have a mesh glove that I think everybody that sees me fillet glove. I've had it for 10 years. My buddy got it.
Yep, I've had one. They're great.
It actually, so you know when you grab the fish and they kind of slimy and they slip out, the glove, I can't, I don't know if I can fillet without it because I'm so used to it. It's like grips, and you don't have to worry about cutting your hand. But you can pick them up at any kind of restaurant.
Yeah, especially
supply
for a sheep's head.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I would have liked to have
but
that.
I'll bet you I've seen those chain gloves and stuff.
Yeah.
The spines on a sheephead will still stick through that.
Oh yeah, no, but you
but for the most part, you won't bleed.
You won't cut
Yeah,
yourself.
you won't cut it.
You won't slice it yourself.
I mean,
But
I'm bleeding by the time I take. I usually start bleeding by the time I take the fish from the cooler to the bucket.
You were bleeding. You were bleeding when you were reeling that fish in.
I was bleeding before I caught the fish.
Yeah.
But
anyways, I would like to show people the glove
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
different, and I
Next time I do a fish cleaning video, I will use your glove.
there you go.
yeah.
Thanks, Manuel.
We'll pass the glove over to him. But hey, guys, so that's just like a part of a new thing we want to do on a week-to-week basis. So we want to get you some other footage of what we're doing. We think it holds some value, but where we could use some help from you guys out there is keeping us in tune with what it is you'd like to see. You know, if there's something you're having trouble with on your boat throughout your fishing days, whatever it is, try to shoot us those, whether it's in a message, in the comments. We'll try to tackle it out there. I mean, odds are, if it's giving you know, a problem, it's something either acting up for us or we've figured out something to help with it. So we'll try to get you a good tip.
I saw something there from Ken. He said he used an electric knife. Electric knives are awesome for cleaning fish. When I was doing a lot of it's really easy.
Fast.
But some fish it's easier without an electric knife. I've never
found that too.
Well, like and mullet is actually probably easier without an electric knife because the fats in a mullet get between the blade.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll
actually gum it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I never cleaned the sheep head. No, you can run right through a trout. Except for when you go to take the skin off, sometimes you got to be careful. But I just started using a regular fillet knife, and I just feel more comfortable with it. But electric knife definitely is faster.
Mm-hmm.
And if
you've got to go through a pile, like you come in from a long day offshore, I prefer an electric knife. Rob asked, was that a Forstner knife? What were you using there?
I don't know. It was a knife one of my clients brought me and give it to me for
a fillet knife.
That was a Dexter. The short one, I'm not sure what it was. It's not an expensive knife, but it's easy to put an edge on. It don't hold an edge very long, but it's easy to
right.
Get
you
that
can
edge
always
back
get it
on
sharp.
There.
Yeah.
It's probably a $10 fillet knife. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
But I like it. I
think
really
you'll
like
find
it.
in common with all of us. I don't know about you, Jason, but I've seen your knives, I've seen Travis' knives, seen mine. We're not using very expensive knives at all.
I'm not about to drop
the
it.
most expensive would be like a Dexter or something, right?
Yeah.
No, I actually had there is a difference. I had my stepdad got me years ago. Guy used to hand make these knives in Alaska. They were like custom, engraved. They're like $150, but it was a difference. I actually still have one, but the blade's so
but can you see
up.
being over at O'Neill's cleaning that with that?
I think get it professionally sharpened, but the key to a good knife too is a lot of people don't realize is you need to have a good steel or a good. I use a ceramic. Dexter makes a ceramic three-way sharpener. A lot of people use them cheap sharpeners that come with a knife, and you actually tear a blade up.
I use the AccuSharp. I keep that one on my boat. It's the same deal as a ceramic, but it's the nice thing about the AccuSharp is it's got we've got them here. They're like $10 or $11, but as soon as you've worn out the ceramic blades on one side, 2 screws, open it up, turn them over the other side, brand new.
Yeah. Well, that Dexter one, you can actually buy replacement cylinders.
Blades. Yep.
For me, it's got 3 different. And actually, I need to order another set. Mine are getting.
Run that dog. But hey guys, so we've got some Dexter wood handle. That's the one. Dexter. It's $24.95. It's hard to beat. But let's talk about Jason. You did some fishing today.
Yeah.
Saw the bait.
I was able to get some bait today. A lot of sardines mixed. And I tell you, the biggest issue that we've had in the last 2 weeks is we went from 52-degree water temperature to 4 days later it's 60, 65, and then today I marked 73 degrees in the river.
Jeez.
So it's like a roller coaster like this. So today what I experienced, we caught quite a bit of snook. We got some trout, flounder, but what I experienced was that there was fish spread out. There wasn't. Oh, I know. There was fish spread out, but typically when you're full-fledged spring, roll on a pothole and it's just 50 snook or 30 snook.
Right.
There was like rural. I think in 3 days with this warm weather, they're going to push in there and it's going to be on fire.
And it looks like we've got it. I mean, the furthest forecast I've seen out was like the 7-day on Bay News 9. I didn't see anything different. I know I saw. A little bit of 71 offshore Sunday. It was not 71 in our bay.
It was 66 today.
Yeah, because it was.
Middle of the bay.
I was marking 61 in the bay Sunday.
Yeah, it was.
But it looks like for the next 7 to 10 days, we're going to have temperatures consistently up in the 75 to 80 degree range. That's probably the most consistent of any temperature we've seen in any 7 to 10 day period, probably since early or late December and early January.
Yeah. So things are gonna move around. Things are gonna change. There's gonna be some bait showing up. So it's just in spring. I just hope that we don't fall into this pattern we did last year. Where we
Ken.
had record temperatures in February. Then come March,
Boom.
we're booked every
Polar
freaking day.
vortex of March.
We got
Terrible
59 degree water temperature,
and that could happen.
It
I
could.
mean,
Well, it did last year.
Well, and I think it could. I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly think it's probably gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, our winters.
I don't think
just,
we're done with the cold.
No, I don't think we're done. But that water gets to a certain point where it's just not going to drop cold enough to shut them down, or push them off the flats. And I think we're, if we got another week and a half of this type of weather, it's going to be for sure. The grunt bite has been good. It actually wasn't great yesterday. It's like when it was real cold, I was catching big grunts and stuff like that, but yesterday we had to work to get the bottom fishing going. So
Answer that question.
These guys, I think we're getting our legs pulled here. Pounds. Either one. Inches mostly.
How do they do East Coast snook, Ryan?
Pounds.
Pounds?
Yeah.
I've heard that one before.
Well, that's because they catch
Yeah, they do have
bigger snook on average.
Hang on. Ryan, if you're trying to troll us, none of us are going to argue with you that you got bigger snook over there on the East Coast.
Yeah, I seen a snook come from the East Coast that was so big the picture weighed about 6 pounds. So.
This is a good one. But I mean, I think like you said, I think it's going to be like kind of like a condensed spring pattern. Like, you're going to start to these fish after a few days are going to start to just feel that temperature rise.
They're going to roll in,
and they're going to roll in and do their thing that we're used to seeing them do come late March or whenever it is. And so I would treat it like going into this, if you're looking for the snook red trout bite. And but yeah, I mean, I know we went through a period where bait was tough. I mean, we can vouch for that.
I mean, today I still had to work for it. There's a lot of Spanish sardines, but I got it. I had shrimp. I had 4 dozen shrimp with me, and I had my bag of dead stuff. And I was expecting. It was like I woke last night. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go just take a run. I thought, man, I probably shouldn't. They just went Saturday, wasn't there. I said, let's just make a run. Because if you make that run, I went to the Skyways, no doubt about it. But you make that run, it's not there. You just burnt 12 gallons of fuel and wasted an hour of your time, which I did last Friday. So, but I looked at the water temp. I said, man, there's no way that bait's still not there. It's 65 degrees out in the bay. So
y'all checked every marker in the bridge, right?
He did.
On what was that, Saturday, Trev? Yeah, Saturday. So I mean, we went from the river to the bridge and everything in between.
Yeah. So, everything's starting to change. Just the key I always tell people, it's not rocket science. Look at your water temperature. Your water temperature will tell you where to go.
Right.
You have to know how to look at that water temperature and look at the conditions, and from there just adjust your trip. And that's what I did today, and it was productive. We didn't knock it dead, but every spot we caught fish. The tide was a little jacked up today. It stopped sooner than what my GPS was showing. But besides that, we caught fish. I know when I dropped the bait out at my dock, fish were happy.
Yeah,
there was a lot of snook at my dock. So
Ken's waiting on tarpon season, aren't we all, bud?
Yeah.
I say that until it gets here, and then I'm like,
I'm all
tarpon
right
again.
Horse cracker, I cannot do that.
Horse cranker, no.
Oh, cranker. I thought it said horse cracker.
No.
Horse cranker, I can't do it, man. No. I have enough trouble with 2 hands.
Yeah. So, but looking forward, man, the sheep. I will say this too, is that I don't think the sheep's head bite has really went off, because I always judge that by we kept some sheep the other day. Only had one of them had roe in it. I don't think.
Yeah,
the sheep's head
I've seen some, but not all. Some.
Man, when them things are in full roe mode, it's just coming out of them.
Yeah.
Like that's when you know. So I think our sheep.
The one we cleaned had some roe in it.
Yeah, and
ton,
they should be. I mean, they should be.
I think this next moon is my prediction. You're going to have the big sheep's head show up on the ledges. I don't really sheep's head fish the flats. I know guys do. I don't know. I fish out in the middle of the bay for them.
Yeah.
I do good. They spawn, and that's when you get them big ones. 5-pounders, 4-pounders, pretty consistent.
Sheeps are slower this year. I can't say I'm seeing the same thing, but I'm kind of just keep checking these places that I'm used to getting them and not having the same success I've had in years past. So I'm trying to find new places throughout the bay, and it seems like I'm checking them. I'm just not seeing the numbers of them. I'll get a few fish, and then it's like gotta move. But it is what it is. But yeah, we're coming up on that 50-minute mark, guys. So we're gonna
Wrap it up, man.
We're gonna go get some
Been
wings, or
got
Meet us at the Wing House.
whatever it is, whatever your pick.
We'll be at the Wing
your
House in
choice
Tampa.
is.
We want to swing up there.
Yeah, swing up there. We had a couple guys on it.
That was cool last week.
Definitely
Yeah.
cool to see some of you
That
guys
was
out
cool.
there.
They
So
met us there.
we tend to make that a habit. Stop by there and get our fill after the show. So feel free. It's the Wing House over.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Next
Out.
week.